Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Warframe Digest, episode 42. Today we'll be going over Devstream 60 and its relevant topics. So, let's following on last Digest theme of returning present and future expansions, we'll continue with that little formula. I kind of like it a little bit more. So, let's talk about there were no returning features or interesting features, so we'll talk about present features, things that are going on right around the corner. Oh, that dastardly word. So, present things that are coming out right around the corner is 17.5. 17.5 is expected to come out relatively soon, about next week or so. That's an estimate, and they're talking about some interesting things that are going to be coming along with it. Currently, we know that 17.5 will come with a new boss fight, which will be the returning Golem boss and its Archwing boss fight and boss form, and it's going to be very interesting. Sadly, they want to release the boss first and get it into the general public's hand, so that way we can later down the line play the trial. So the trial will not be coming immediately at 17.5, but later down the road, because they really want us to get to know the boss and experiment and see what the potential problems are with the boss, considering that in a trial-based environment, that's a little bit more limited because not everyone will get that far or not everyone plays these trials. So they want to kind of just generally throw the boss in there for good measures. Another thing that they're talking about for good measures is the upcoming Warframe. The upcoming Warframe is coming down the line. It is Atlas, it is the Brawler, and they did show off Atlas along with the new Chinese Warframe that was somehow found out by the general public, and I caught my eye on him and I kind of figured it was going to be Wukong, the Monkey King, and lo and behold, his name is Wukong. So he is literally the Monkey King, so Wukong, Sun Wukong, and they also showed off Atlas, which is the Brawler, which is the Earth frame. You can see here Rebecca and Sheldon were playing these frames and they showed off some interesting powers. So let's go with the Monkey King. The Monkey King has been declared to be an open beta release Warframe for the Chinese environment. So the Chinese version of Warframe will go into open beta September 25th, and the international build will be obtaining this Warframe 30 days after, so at some point near the end of October. As we can see, Wukong has a couple of interesting powers. They range in from this weird soul-like-esque power, which just knocks enemies down, all the way up to Cloud Walk, which he just goes into mist form, but technically he's jumping up into the clouds so he has a safe little positioning spot, so he can just come back down when he sees fit, and he does go technically stealth, but visually all players will see him as a little dust cloud. They also showed off another of his abilities, which I didn't necessarily catch, and then they showed his ultimate, which is Primal Fury. With Primal Fury, it is identical or equivalent to that of his Exalted Blade, where he spawns in a staff that will grow and extend according to Wukong's will, and if not, just broaden down and shrink to become a bludgeon and a very hammerful weapon, I don't even know words, that Wukong is signaturally known for. So we can see Wukong coming some point down the end of October. No idea when. They did say 30 days after the 25th of September, so expect them at the end of October, somewhere around Halloween. Also, we have Atlas, the Earth frame, and you can see his powers. They range from anywhere between Stone Punch, which is like Slash Dash, where you can chain it, and it's a new mechanical change that they're seeing with the Warframe powers, where the longer you chain it, the cheaper it gets and the stronger it becomes. So this might be the first of a retroactive change that we might be seeing to these caster type Warframes. So we might see these come to Volt, Ember, Frost, and so on and so forth that have chaining capabilities. As well as Earth Barrier, where he spawns in a rock wall in front of him, and cast it again, he pushes the rock wall forward into a boulder-like form, which can just mow down the enemies. So it's a defensive, offensive ability, which I will be highly enthusiastic to be using. Then we also have Stone Gaze, which will petrify the enemies and turn them into rock-solid statues that can easily be shattered and destroyed, so it pretty much makes him into a Gorgon with a petrifying stare, but it's called Stone Gaze because, you know, Earth Elementals can necessarily petrify enemies. And talking about Earth Elementals, his ultimate is actually Rock Golems. He can spawn up to 2 Golems that will be affected by strength and duration based mods, and the higher the strength, the bigger the Golems, and the bigger the life pool that they will have, as well as more damage they will deal. So this will be a strength dedicated skill, but duration still has a very big part in this. Or I'm not sure if it's toggleable, so it might be efficiency. We don't know all the details, but it seems pretty awesome. Aside from all that, they also showed off the pre-Corpus Valkyr skin. As you can see, there is a tail confirmed, and I'm really enjoying this skin. It's very beautiful. It is going to be the next series in the deluxe skins, and they are talking about back and forth whether or not it's going to be a time exclusive or will it be just something just sticks around in the market. Right now, they seem to be fiddling with the idea of making another exclusive, so it kind of fits in with the other two deluxe skins that we have for Excalibur and Nyx. So it might just be fitting to have all the deluxe skins as these limited edition time items that will be returning periodically. Along with this skin, they also showed off that Valkyr will be getting a small power rework in the form of Ripline is a hell of a lot faster, and it's a lot more interesting to use. This is another skill that they're playing along with the idea of making it cheaper as you cast over and over and over within a small consecutive window of timing. And they also messed around with Hysteria. Hysteria is more Exalted Blade-like, where it doesn't necessarily take the stats and attributes from your melee weapon, but instead of the mods that are attached to your melee weapon. And it also will be a toggleable on and on ability. So yay, no longer getting stuck in a Hysteria for about a minute or so. No idea if Paralysis or Warcry will be getting another treatment, but overall, these little balances and second look at for Valkyr is a long time coming, and we still have other Warframes that are higher in the priority list that we should be seeing at some point later down the road. While they showed off the pre-Corpus Valkyr skin, they also showed off the Modular Corpus. The Modular Corpus are a new variancy of enemies that we will be seeing in male and female versions, along with different interchangeable helmets, weapons, and leggings. The leggings will be affecting their movement and attack patterns, as well as their helmets. The helmets come with an arcane ability that will jam specific Warframe abilities classified under different categories, under offensive, defensive, buffs, and crowd control. So these will be specifically aimed nullification tactics for different styled Warframe play to change up the variables and the whole entire flow of combat. These units will be faster, more aggressive, a lot smarter, and again, jamming of the powers. So expect a little mayhem to ensue. Talk about mayheming to ensue, the whole entire Pandora's box of multi-shot. They did talk about it, they are messing with the idea of it, they are debating whether to go back and change these stats and tweak them so a lot of these mandatory mods are less mandatory, but along with changing that, they're also thinking of having the weapons scale just like the Warframes. That way at rank 0 or unranked, they have a flat variable, and by the time they hit rank 30, it's a completely different weapon with different stats, faster reload, higher crit, this, so on and so forth. So this is very interesting and drastic and very opening and welcoming to me as far as I say. Well, as far as I know. And talking about future intended problems and ideas and solutions. They did talk again about 17.5. The trials will not be coming down the road on launch for 17.5, but they will be at some point 17, as long as we get all the J3 Golem or the new Golems Archwing boss fight bugs ironed out and fixed. They will be coming with a new series of arcanes. They are going to be changing how the arcane systems work for the trials, making it a lot more simpler or cheaper and easier to pull these away from the helmets. They are also talking about impending Archwing changes. The enemies will no longer be displayed on the minimap, but they will be displayed on the hub with little icons that will not fade away when you aim down sights in Archwing mode. The units will be more aggressive, they will be more into a dogfighting scenario, so they will hunt you down, chase you, hit you and run away and force you to chase after them, making the combat a little bit more chase and dodgy and a little bit more aggressive. Overall tweaks and changes and balances will be coming to all Archwing missions and game modes and weapons, and as well as an afterburner mode that they are experimenting with, that after initiating the overboost or the sprinting version in Archwing, after 4 seconds of consecutive bursting, you go into afterburner mode, which will increase your speed up to a 1.5 variable or 150% movement speed, which is very, very interesting and very good for some of those large Archwing missions. They also showed off some of the Syndicate emotes. The Syndicate emotes have been shown that they tend to work. There are no specific triggers for them, so it's not about going into one Syndicate and swapping out and getting all 6 of them. They have specific requirements that have to be met in order to be used. You can equip it like any other emote, but when you initiate it, depending on the current variables and values and conditionings, when you do it with a friend, what Syndicate you're in, what Syndicate he's in, how high are you in either Syndicate, are you both max rank in a specific Syndicate, and whether or not you're in the same Syndicate or not. There are a lot of variables, and you'll do the specific Syndicate emotes according to that variable and discrepancy and words. I'm just gonna shove as many as I can in there. So, aside from that, they showed off a little bit more back and forths with some of the warframes. They did talk about making a lot of the warframe powers a little bit more interactive, a lot more scalability, removing this press 4 end all be all, stay away from the action scenario, and these changes will be retroactive to older frames and powers, so all warframe abilities, or most warframe ultimates, will be more interactive, stronger, and scalable for higher end play, and less of a press 4 and win all scenario. So one last thing they did show off is they are talking about the Temple Rhino. The Temple Rhino is going to be part of a bundle that will be coming after the pre-Corpus Valkyr. They didn't show us necessarily the details on the Temple Rhino as is. They did show off the Temple Rhino's weapon skin that will be coming around with the pack, and it shows off this hammer skin. No idea what hammer it is going to be coming with specifically, but overall that is a beautiful hammer, and I'm very interested to see where it gets attached to and placed in the game. So that pretty much does it for Warframe Digest 42. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Are you excited for some of these changes? Are you excited about Wukong coming at the end of October? Are you excited for Atlas, the Earth frame that will be all about Terra, Earth, rocks, pounding away at everything? Or are you excited for Valkyr's little changes and pre-Corpus skin? So tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thanks for sticking by, and remember guys, have fun, take it easy, and see you guys in game.